Hello everyone, I'm so happy to see you again in a brand new episode on this channel. Today, our story continues with the challenging turning points, yet deeply filled with love, of the single mother Ly Hoai Ca. After days of silently enduring everything, Hoai Ca gradually began to feel the heartbeat of the little life growing inside her. Every morning when she wakes up, she gently places her hand on her belly, both anxious and happy, knowing that her life has already changed forever. Yet along with that happiness, her heart still carries a heavy, unspoken fear. Fear of being found out, fear of gossip from the neighbors, fear of judgmental eyes, and above all, fear that Hùng will worry, which could affect both his work and his spirit. During those months, the only one by her side was Mother Ha, a gentle woman who treated Hoai Ca as her own daughter. She not only cared for her meals and her sleep, but also gave her the warm support of a mother, gently urging her to face the truth with courage. And yet, Hoai Ca's heart remained torn. She wondered, if she revealed everything, would it only add to Hùng burdens, or would it instead become the greatest happiness he had been waiting for all along? Everything seemed to be reaching its breaking point. The longer she kept her secret, the heavier the pressure weighed on her fragile shoulders. Meanwhile, far away, Hùng continued day and night with his comrades, devoted to his duty, completely unaware that back home, a little angel was growing every day, waiting for him to return. Today's episode will take viewers through heart-stopping moments and scenes overflowing with emotion. Love, fear, faith, and courage intertwined to create a story no one can look away from. Will Hoai Ca find the strength to finally reveal the truth? And when he learns about it, how will Hùng respond, with anger, with shock, or with an indescribable outpouring of joy? Join us on this journey to find the answer. And don't forget to leave your comments, share your feelings, and send your blessings to Hoai Ca, Hùng, and the baby she carries. Your love and support will always be the greatest motivation for us to continue bringing meaningful episodes in the days ahead. After a period of being tenderly cared for by Mother Ha, Hoai Ca's health gradually recovered. The early days filled with exhausting morning sickness that left her unable to eat or drink were now behind her. Though she still occasionally felt discomfort, compared to before, her body had improved greatly, enough for her to handle daily chores on her own. Hoai Ca understood that she could not stay in someone else's home forever, nor let herself become a burden to Mother Ha. So once she felt more stable, she decided to return to her small house, the place that held both sweet and bitter memories. The house, quiet and covered with a thin layer of dust, immediately filled her heart with a sense of indescribable peace the moment she stepped inside. The wooden chairs, the bed, the lush little garden, everything seemed to be silently waiting for her return. Without giving herself time to think too much, Hoai Ca quickly threw herself into her familiar routine. The vegetable beds outside were ready for harvest. She carefully picked bunches of green mustard, gathered gourds and squashes, and neatly arranged them in her bamboo basket. Her hair, damp with sweat, clung to her face, her calloused hands smeared with soil. Yet in her eyes flickered a faint glimmer, because this work not only brought her some income, but also helped chase away the emptiness creeping into her heart. From the chicken coop and rabbit hutch came the lively chorus of clucks and squeaks. The little chicks ran about playfully, while the white rabbits nibbled on hay. Everything seemed to be welcoming her home after days of absence. Every morning, Hoai Ca woke up early, carried baskets of feed to her animals, cleaned their cages, then busied herself preparing vegetables, eggs, and even a few wildflowers to bring to the market. Life was simple and tiring, yet it gave her a sense of grounding, a reason to keep moving forward, especially during these stormy days. After the holiday break, Tony returned to school. Each morning, Hoai Ca walked him to class. Watching his small figure with a backpack scurrying into the schoolyard filled her with both warmth and sadness. Tony, so innocent and carefree, had no idea how many burdens his mother was carrying, or about the great secret she had yet to share with anyone. During the hours Tony was in school, the house grew achingly quiet. Without her son's cheerful laughter, only the birdsong in the garden and the rustling wind across the thatched roof remained, intensifying her loneliness. She tried to bury herself in chores to fill the void. Weeding, watering vegetables, chopping firewood, hanging laundry, preparing goods for the market, her days were full. Yet sometimes, in the midst of all that busyness, her body would suddenly resist. While bending down to harvest vegetables, a sudden dizziness would blur her vision, forcing her to brace against the ground to avoid falling. While carrying her basket to the market, she would sometimes stop halfway, leaning against a tree, gasping for breath from fatigue. Each time, Hoài Ca bit her lip and reassured herself it was just normal pregnancy symptoms. But deep inside, the unease gnawed at her, leaving her restless and sleepless many nights. Hoài Ca chose silence, bearing it all alone. She didn't want Mother Ha to worry further, nor did she want anyone to notice the changes in her body. To her, this secret was both a sacred happiness and a heavy burden she couldn't confide. And so, day by day, she quietly lived, quietly endured, being both a mother and the guardian of a secret that she still didn't know when she would have the courage to reveal. One late afternoon, Ha returned home after many busy days. The familiar road leading back to the small village seemed quieter than usual, with the rustling of bamboo leaves in the wind and the faint calls of chickens somewhere in the twilight. As soon as she stepped into the kitchen, she caught sight of her mother's heavy gaze. The old woman sat on the bamboo bed, fiddling with a worn cloth, as if torn between speaking her mind and holding back. Sensing something unusual, Ha gently sat down beside her and softly asked, "What's the matter, Mom? You've been sighing ever since I got back." Mother Ha remained silent for a while before slowly speaking. "My child, I'm so worried about little Hoài Ca. She's pregnant." The words dropped like a stone, leaving Ha stunned. It felt as though an invisible hand had clenched her heart. Images of the frail, quiet Hoài Ca flashed before her eyes, carrying baskets of vegetables, fetching water, her trembling hands tending to Tony each day. This sudden news took Ha's breath away. She sat frozen, unable to respond, staring down at her own hands. Her mind was flooded with questions. Why had Hoài Ca chosen to hide it from Hùng, the man who deserved to know? Would her silence only bring more pain to them both? Mother Ha sighed again, her eyes filled with compassion. She said she's afraid Hùng would worry, that it would distract him from his work. But I see her forcing herself to endure everything alone. I don't know how long she can hold on." Hearing this, Ha's heart grew even heavier. Throughout dinner, she barely touched her food, her thoughts drifting to the image of Hoài Ca, lonely in her small house, battling morning sickness and shouldering the heavy burden all on her own. After leaving home, Ha could no longer hesitate. She decided she had to see Hoài Ca immediately, to ask her directly, and more importantly, to offer her support. The path to Hoài Ca's house was deserted, lit only by the fading golden light of the day settling on the roadside grass. When she arrived, Ha spotted her friend from afar. Hoài Ca sat on the porch, carefully arranging bundles of fresh vegetables into a bamboo basket, preparing them for the market. Her hands worked swiftly, yet her face carried a trace of weariness. From time to time, she paused, placing a hand on her chest and drawing a deep breath as if trying to steady her rebelling body. The sight pierced Ha's heart. Such a small, fragile woman, quietly bearing everything, forced to hide such a tremendous secret. Ha quickened her pace, and when only a few steps away, she stopped, gathered her courage, and spoke firmly, though her voice was thick with concern. "You shouldn't hide this from Hung. He has the right to know the truth." The words struck like a blade against the hidden fear. Hoài Ca's hands trembled, and the bamboo strip she was tying slipped to the ground with a dry thud. She froze, her tear-filled eyes glistening, and shook her head. Her voice quivered, both a confession and a plea. "I'm so afraid he'll worry, afraid he'll lose focus, and it will affect his work. I don't want to become a burden while he's carrying such a great responsibility." She turned away, trying to hide her reddened eyes. Ha looked at her, torn between sorrow and frustration. Sorrow at Hoài Ca's selfless sacrifice, frustration at her excessive endurance, locking herself in loneliness. Stepping closer, Ha gently placed a hand on her friend's shoulder, her voice low but resolute. "You mustn't think you're alone. I see you as my own sister. This isn't something you can hide forever. The truth will come out one day. But no matter what you decide, I'll be by your side, helping you through it. Don't bear it alone anymore, Hoài Ca." Ha's words echoed in the still air, mingling with the sound of the wind stirring the banana leaves behind the house. Hoài Ca sat motionless, tears streaming down her cheeks. She knew Ha was right, knew she couldn't keep the secret forever. But torn between love and fear, her heart still lacked the courage to step into the light. In that moment, the two women faced each other, one determined to help, the other trapped in silent struggle. And in the fading twilight of the courtyard, their story opened onto a new turning point, foreshadowing the turbulent days and unavoidable decisions that lay ahead. After their frank conversation in the yard, Ha realized that Hoài Ca still stubbornly chose to hide the truth. Yet he did not blame her. Instead, his heart filled with even more compassion. Seeing her frail figure preparing to carry a basket of rabbits to the market alone, he grew deeply worried. Afraid that heavy work might affect her health, he made a firm decision. "Here, let me go with you. Just let me give you a hand, it'll be easier that way." Before Hoài Ca could hesitate and refuse, Ha quickly swung the large basket onto his shoulder, handing her the smaller one. Seeing the determination in his eyes, she could only smile softly and accept his company. The road to the morning market buzzed with the sound of ox carts and people calling out to each other. Along the way, Ha kept chatting while attentively watching Hoài Ca's every movement. He reminded her to slow down, not to strain herself, and every so often asked, "Are you tired? If you are, let's sit and rest for a while. Don't push yourself. You have to take care of your health for you and for the baby too." Hearing those words, warmth and shyness welled up inside Hoài Ca. She lowered her head and softly replied, "I'm fine, don't worry. But thank you for caring." The gap between them slowly shrank with those heartfelt reminders. In that moment, Hoài Ca felt that Ha was not only a close friend, but also like a true older brother, always concerned and protective of her. When they reached the market, Ha quickly helped set up the rabbits at the stall, carried cages, and even called out to customers when someone stopped by. Thanks to his presence, everything went more smoothly and easily than usual. Standing beside him, Hoài Ca felt a warmth rise within her, as if her worries had lightened. After finishing the sales, Ha turned to her with a gentle smile and asked, "Craving anything? My treat. Think of it as a reward for your hard work this morning." Hoài Ca hesitated a little before softly saying, I just feel like a bowl of pho." Ha laughed warmly. "Then pho it is. It's been a long time since we last had a meal together." So the two of them stopped by a small roadside pho shop. Steam rose in curls from the bowls, carrying a rich aroma that seemed to soothe Hoài Ca's heart. She ate slowly, but her eyes sparkled with a rare flicker of joy. Across from her, Ha occasionally placed pieces of meat into her bowl, reminding her, "Eat more, build your strength. You can't skip meals anymore." Afterward, Ha insisted on escorting Hoài Ca all the way home. By then, the afternoon sun had turned golden, spilling across the peaceful village road. Their silhouettes walked side by side, one quietly protecting, the other quietly receiving care, painting a simple yet heartwarming image of kinship. When the gate closed behind her, Hoài Ca watched Ha's figure fade into the distance, her heart swelling with deep gratitude. She realized clearly that no matter how stormy life became, she was never truly alone, for there were always hearts beside her, offering love and protection. That evening, after making sure Hoài Ca was safely home, Ha returned to his own house. His heart was still weighed down with sorrow and a lingering sense of guilt. Stepping into the kitchen, he saw his mother mending an old shirt under the dim glow of an oil lamp. Ha sat down and recounted everything that had just happened, how Hoài Ca was hiding her secret, how she endured in silence, and the frail image of her he had just witnessed as she struggled to sell the rabbits at the market. When she finished listening, Mother Ha sat still for a long while. She put down her needle and thread, her eyes brimming with tears. She understood that Hoài Ca had been carrying far too much, bearing her fears and the exhaustion of pregnancy all alone. With a heavy sigh, her voice low and husky, she said, "We can't let that poor girl keep suffering like this. Hung has the right to know, and he is the one who must share this burden with her." Ha nodded, determination flashing in his eyes. Mother and son wrestled with the matter, discussing it for a long time, until they finally reached a decision. They had to find a way to tell Hung the truth. Though they worried about how Hoài Ca might react, they believed that Hung would not be angry. On the contrary, he would be overwhelmed with joy. For a man who loved so deeply, this news would be nothing short of the most precious gift. Meanwhile, at his post, Hung was taking a rare break after a long shift. Suddenly, he received a message from Mother Ha. Just a few short lines, yet carrying a truth that shook his heart. Hoài Ca was pregnant. In that instant, Hung was stunned. His heart seemed to stop for a beat, before an overwhelming surge of happiness burst forth. He clenched his fists, eyes brimming with tears, so choked with emotion that words failed him. All the fatigue, all the stress of his duty, melted away in a heartbeat, replaced only by pure, soaring joy. Inside him, a fierce determination ignited. He had to return to Hoài Ca and the little life growing within her. The image of their small home, Tony's laughter, Hoài Ca's fragile figure, everything pulsed in his mind, urging him onward, becoming the greatest source of strength for him to endure and push harder than ever before. The moment Hung learned that Hoài Ca was pregnant, his heart felt as if it had exploded. A wave of dizziness washed over him, only to be replaced instantly by an overwhelming joy that left him speechless. He longed to shout out loud, to reach her immediately, to hear her familiar voice, to hear Hoài Ca herself admit and share this happiness with him. But as he held the phone in his hand, a crushing truth struck him. Hoài Ca didn't have a phone. In that instant, his soaring joy seemed veiled in a mist of frustration. The longing to call her, to hear her gentle on through the line, dissolved into a hollow ache pressing against his chest. All that afternoon, Hung sat in silence at the barracks, eyes fixed on the dark phone screen, imagining what he would say if he could call, how he would pour out his love. With no other choice, he turned to Mother Ha and Ha, the only people by Hoài Ca's side. In hurried letters, he pleaded with them to take care of her, to watch over her meals and her rest, not to let her suffer or feel alone. He begged them to tell her that, even from afar, he was always thinking of her, always sending his love and hope across the distance. The joy of knowing he was going to be a father filled his chest, but it was mingled with a gnawing impatience. Each day dragged on like a year. He longed to return at once, to see Hoài Ca with his own eyes, to place his hand on her belly and feel the little life growing within. In his mind, he envisioned the moment, holding her tightly, whispering words of love, kneeling to kiss her rounding belly, vowing to build a future together. Yet these visions remained dreams, for his sacred duty as a soldier would not allow him to leave right away. Unwilling to sit idly by, Hùng quickly sought a solution. He approached his comrades, asking to swap shifts, ready to shoulder the toughest, most grueling duties. There were nights he stayed awake in the cold mountains, eyes burning with fatigue, body aching, but within him, a flame of determination burned fiercely. He told himself, just endure a little longer, just finish the tasks sooner, and he could gather enough days off to return home. Through every command, every mission, every step he marched, his thoughts remained fixed on Hoài Ca and the unborn child. The image of their small home back in the village shone vividly before him, the porch bathed in the afternoon sun, the lush green garden, Tony's laughter, and the fragile yet steadfast figure of Hoài Ca. All of it became a lantern guiding his path, giving him the strength to overcome exhaustion, to never allow himself to falter. With every step forward, his heart carried a single blazing desire, to return soon. In his mind, the future was crystal clear. He would open his arms wide and embrace Hoài Ca, Tony, and the tiny life soon to be born. That vision was his greatest source of strength, the unshakable faith that kept him going, urging him to endure every challenge so he could quickly return to the loving home awaiting him. Today's story closes with a happiness tinged with longing in Hung's heart. From afar, he has learned the truth that Hoài Ca is carrying his child. Though he cannot rush home right away, within him burns a determination stronger than ever before, to return to his little family. Meanwhile, Hoài Ca continues to endure in silence, standing strong day by day. Yet now, she is no longer truly alone, for behind her stand Mother Ha, and most importantly, Hung's heart beating for her with every moment. In the days to come, will Hung be able to arrange a way to return early to Hoài Ca and their child? Now that the secret is out, will happiness finally smile upon this little family, or are new challenges still waiting just ahead? Share your thoughts and blessings for Hoài Ca, Hung, and little Tony in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video to support us, and see you again in the next episode, with even more surprising and emotional moments.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người những câu chuyện, những phần tiếp theo của câu chuyện nha. Hôm nay thì phải nói rất là vui mừng vì có một số chuyện ở trong video mọi người cũng đã thấy đấy. Hầu như bữa nay là toàn là tin vui, tin mừng thôi. Và mình mong rằng mình có thể góp một phần nào đấy đến niềm vui của mọi người trong cuộc sống, cũng như rằng là mong khi mọi người xem video của mình xong thì mọi người có thể vui vẻ và thoải mái hơn, cũng như là tìm được ý nghĩa của cuộc sống hơn. Nếu như mà mọi người yêu quý kênh của mình cũng như là yêu quý các nhân vật thì mọi người hãy đăng ký kênh, sau đó bật chuông thông báo lên, và nhớ là đừng bỏ lỡ bất kỳ video nào mà kênh mình ra nha. Kênh mình thì sẽ cố định ngày lên một video, và nếu có thể thì mình sẽ cố gắng lên 2 video một ngày để có thể đáp ứng nhu cầu xem của mọi người. Và mình mong rằng nhận được nhiều lời góp ý của mọi người để kênh mình có thể ngày càng hoàn thiện hơn. Cảm ơn mọi người.